Oh. It's going to be interesting. Well, the interest rates are helping, but you got fear. So you're battling. You're embracing one while you're battling the other one. So, hmm so it's
But,
definitely
but
interesting.
we're not in that category because God did not give us a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. So, in no sense of being scared of something that you ain't got no control over.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 It's for confirmation. These times of confirmation. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. On the equipment. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. He's all right. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. No. Mm-mm. We're gonna talk. Yeah, not yet. Yeah,
None,
not yet.
son.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Intro, outro. Mm-hmm. Good Saturday morning, guys. Welcome to Exit Strategies Radio Show. I am your host, Corwin J. Millette, broker and owner of Exit Realty, Low Country Group in beautiful North Charleston, South Carolina. Hey, if this is your first time listening to the show, you are in for a treat. First and foremost, thank you for tuning in today. I know that you could be doing a number of other things, watching all the calamity and all the things that are negative that are going on around us in this world right here. But y'all have decided to tune into this show. So I'm going to tell you what our mission is. It's very simple. It is to empower our community, guys, the African American community, through financial literacy and real estate education. We are legacy building. So, hey, don't think your legacy is ending because it looked like and someone is telling you that they think that the world is ending out there, because we here to give you a new truth.
Amen.
Yes, that's what we're going to do here today. Now, look here, they ain't set me loose in this booth alone. And look here, I got to give y'all a little bit of closing on a serious tip a little bit later, but I had to tell my extra, and then my extra guest here today that, look here, before this show, I had to get my whole mind right and be ready, because I know I'm going to have me a ball and a blast up in here. So look, we are recording today's show. You can catch it on our social media page, Exit Strategies Radio Show. Please make sure you find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. The content is going to be there. You're going to get some of that extra behind the scenes. They had to put a gap between me and one of my guests here because, see, he like to swing and I might swing back. So we ain't going to be unprepared. We're going to be ready, always steady around here. That's what we're going to do. But look here, I am not going to hold any punches on today's show because we're going to have a blast. But I'm going to give you a little bit of closing a little bit later, kind of talking about what we got going on outside. Because right now we're going to concentrate on something positive and on something you can do. So I'm going to take you guys back. I'm going to give this intro right here. I'm going to take you back to probably about 2007, I believe it might have been. And the phone rang in the office I was working in at the time on Columbus Day. And on the end of that phone was none other than Mrs. Vanderbilt Evans Sr., he tells me. That's what he tells me.
That's right.
But Miss Sandra Evans was on the other end of that phone. Now, my guest today are none other than Pastor Apostle Vanderbilt Evans Sr. and Elder Sandra Evans from, what's the name of it again?
Resurrected Life Ministry in Jesus Christ.
So,
Inc.
There you go. See, he like to point it out and correct me in that. See, that's why I had to mess with him in here. But today we're going to talk about Pastor and Elder are two of my longest investor clients. And they have been doing real estate investing for a very long time. So I'm going to get out the way and I'm just going to throw a couple of questions out there to them today. But if you're someone who's thinking about how do I get started, then that's what we're going to be talking about here today. So y'all get your pens and pads ready and y'all make some notes. So Pastor and Elder, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for allowing us to be with you.
So look here. I'm going to ask you a question here. So
who are you going to ask a question?
Well, look here. Oh, see, there he go. See, here he come. So we've been working together for a long time. So I don't want to concentrate necessarily on that. But what I do want to concentrate on is what got you started with investing in real estate.
Well, the first thing we flipped was our baby girl bedroom.
Hold on, what?
Yes.
Okay, explain that.
Well, she needed a bigger closet in her bedroom. So we had to redirect the whole other stuff, you know?
Okay.
But that's where the interest came from.
Okay.
But really, I'll let my wife tell you exactly how we got into dealing with houses.
Okay.
All right? Because to start with her, we didn't know anything about this stuff.
Okay.
You know? But through investigating,
Yes, sir.
through reading, through looking at DIY,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Her vision was to do things
Yes, sir.
like that. But she'll tell you herself how she actually got into dealing with the real estate because of one reason.
Okay.
And I'll let her elaborate on that.
Okay, so Elder, come on. Now tell our listeners to give them this story because you got a story.
Sure has.
Good afternoon, Radio Land.
All right.
Glad to be with you and share this time with you. I'm born and raised in the Bronx, New York City. Raised up in the housing. We didn't have hammers. We didn't have screwdrivers.
Okay.
We always called maintenance.
Uh-oh.
So it was never a thought of getting into flipping homes. But when I moved to Charleston and I was managing 8 young men, I would listen to them every night. They all had homes that they were renting, but they were slumlords. And it made me very upset that how they were treating the public. And so one night I sat down at my desk and I said, Lord, why can't I do that, but just do it right? And that's how I got started. So I started tearing my house apart,
Okay.
one room at a time,
Okay.
and working on it, watching the DIY, going to the library for books, getting information. And so I saw I was getting a little good at this thing. So I started taking the mother's room in her house.
Yes, ma'am.
And doing it for a birthday present.
Okay.
And then I realized, Sandra, you have a gift. You ought to do something with that gift, because gifts are given to share.
Oh.
And that's how I got started. So started traveling around Charleston, looking at homes, getting online, looking at homes. And one day I ran into this cottage. It looked like nobody wanted this cottage. And so I ran home and I told my husband, I said, there's a cottage I saw that I would like to work on. And I thought he would say, are you out of your mind? But he didn't say that. Instead, he said, well, let's get it. And that's how we got started. 12 houses later, here we are today. But it was a great desire because I wanted to make it, put it in a place where anyone can move in without having to do the repairs. I wanted it to be beautiful. And when the Lord told me, if you're going to get into this, fix it as though you had to live in it. So whatever I did, I knew I had to sign his name to it. So it had to be right. And that's how I got started. I didn't know it would be all these years later, I would still have that desire. But whenever that desire kick in, I find myself looking for a home, because there's a home he has for me to get it done. Because I realize it's not just for me. It's not to put money just in my pocket,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
it's to be a blessing to the ministry. So it is a ministry to me.
That's right.
It is to bless others that they're not able
Amen.
to come into those types of houses. So I enjoy what I do. When I leave, I pray over every door, every window, every wall in that place in the name of Jesus. I thank God from the time he opened the door and the time he closed that door, because I know it's going to bless somebody. And I'm grateful for meeting Cohen, because he's become family to us. And I know
Amen.
I can
Don't you
trust
don't
him.
you make me
He's
cry
there
over here,
for
girl.
me,
Yeah.
and we work together well.
Don't you make me cry.
Yeah, he just don't come and help me do all the flunky work. But
So-
he-
So for you faithful listeners, y'all been hearing me talk about Elder Evans, who always says to me, Cohen, the people lack vision. And the things that she said that have resonated within me, within my spirit, within my life, within my business all these years. But I'm a co-sign on a specific part of what Elder just said for you, our listeners. She has made it a very, very, huge. I mean, it's the calling, if you will. She's made it very specific. If she won't live in that house, she ain't gonna let nobody else live in there. And that has been something that's been constant, Pastor and Elder, as we've worked. I know how many times that I've come by just to come by to mess with Pastor, because I get a kick out of seeing him do flunky work. I don't know why.
That's quite often.
But as many times as I'll come by, oh well, we ain't ready yet. We'll let you know when, and you just rush me right on out. And when it's ready, that's when you call me and tell me, hey, you can come by and get the keys and do what you need to do with it. So if you don't mind, for our listeners, a lot of times people are they look at getting started with anything of this quote unquote magnitude as being daunting. What did it take financially for you to get started, if you don't mind sharing that for our listeners?
The first house we started with, the cottage, I had only $5,000. I did not know who I was going to be able to get to do any kind of repairs, because it needed desperate repairs. But lo and behold, just praying, going through the neighborhood, I found young men who was doing carpentry work. And that's how I got started with them. And they came in and started doing the work. But I started with $5,000. And I didn't do it with cash. I went through the banks and got a loan. And I used the $5,000 down. And that's how I got started. Had a Home Depot and Lowe's card. And I used that credit. And the type of credit they were giving, you had 6 months to a year to pay it off. And so that's how I got all my supplies.
So, wow. So that is right there a word. Now, guys, look, we just got the signal for the first break. Y'all stay tuned, because we got more of this story. You're listening to Exit Strategies. We'll be right back. Look here, I'll pick them up on the next one. Commercial spots? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. He usually, depending upon how we end up, he tells me how many, because we alternate the last segment between 3 or 4 minutes, and he just drops the commercials in there. So we have a few 1-minute slots and a few 30-second slots. I'm pretty they probably knowing him, they probably are.
Bless the
Thank
Lord.
you.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. 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 I'm gonna give you something that oftentimes I have to remember and recall as far as my businesses. There's countless numbers of me's around here, but God will pave the path for your success.
Amen.
He will pave it in the midst of all those others that are there seemingly saying that they're on the road. He will pave your path for success. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
But that's his perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That's his perspective. And you got to always remember what God has for you, it is for you. Don't care how many people are doing it, they can't do it the same way because they don't have the same type of vision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bless it. Bless the Lord. Yeah, but it didn't come out the corona thing. It's been there all the time. Come on, brother. Come on. Every penny help. Yeah, be like the lady with the 2 mice. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir. It changes things. But you know what? Maybe you had to go through to get to a time such as this. Yeah. People sometimes we miss that. We think it's all supposed to be peaches and cream or a manna from heaven, but
Got to go through to get in.
Yes, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. All right. Yes, sir. And we are back, guys. Second segment, Exit Strategies Radio Show. I'm your host, Colin J. Millett, broker and owner of Exit Realty Low Country Group in beautiful North Charleston, South Carolina. If this is your first time listening to the show, you are in for a treat. Our mission here is very simple. That is to empower our community, the African American community, through financial literacy and real estate education, guys. We are legacy building. So if you've been following us for a while, you know we're on social media, Facebook, YouTube. Find us, check us out there, guys. We're going to be posting today's show as quickly as possible because we believe that you all need some encouragement in your life in these times. So y'all, please make sure y'all take a look at this show today. Get that little extra that goes on, the commentary that goes on behind the scenes over here because we are excited about today's show. Amen. So one thing that we have focused on thus far this year has been 3 hashtags. That is legacy building, that is changing the narrative, and that is also, removing obstacles. Yes. And today's show is fitting to all 3 of those hashtags that we're using this year on social media. All 3 of them. Because I have in studio with me, I ain't in this booth here alone. I have in studio with me Pastor Vanderbilt, Elder Sandra Evans. And look here, I got to put the senior on that for Pastor. Because look here, if I don't say senior, he will turn this entire place out.
Amen. Say it again.
Senior.
Listen.
So, look, we're talking. These Pastor and Elder are 2 of my longest investor clients. Met just out of happenstance and have somewhat been glued at the hip, if you will, all these years as they have endeavored to provide affordable and quality housing to people, to residents in our community. Elder always gives me, the story. And she always shares her life and the things she's been through and why this is such a powerful ministry for her and for Pastor. And I want to go back because this is something, and if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of throw this in right there out there. You said something in the very beginning, Elder, that this is the vision that was given to you. You went back and had a conversation with Pastor, and Pastor immediately co-signed, jumped right on the vision with you.
Yes.
Now, you don't see that all the time.
I know.
And that is sad.
Yes.
So, I tell people, somewhere probably about 2 to 3 years into my business is when I really started paying attention to people, more so that I learned from my clients, more so than I learned anywhere else. Watching people, watching you all these years, I'm going to say this, I'm going to get off my little soapbox, but watching you all for all these years, they don't quit on me like 13 times, by the way. I just want y'all to know that. I can't tell you how many times they done looked at me, Colin, this the last one. Son, it's been, I get all of that. He don't quit on me like 15 times. I know he ready to give up being chief flunky, but look here, we keep promoting him. Now he major flunky.
Oh, my God.
But all these years that you guys have been doing this, I've watched you work in concert and in unison, and it's been without hesitation, without fail, that you have been blessed and succeeded abundantly above anything I ever thought in complete. You've taken on some ugly houses.
Can I say this?
Yes, sir, please.
One thing we have to understand through marriage couple, that we are one.
That's a word.
And the male man doesn't have to have the vision and run with it.
Okay.
Because they're one. The female man can have the vision and the male man run along with the female man.
Look here, somebody need to take that right. Say that one more time. Pastor, say that one more time, because somebody need to hear that out there.
We are one.
Yes.
And the male man doesn't always have to have the vision. The female man can have the vision. But since we are one, we need to run together with the mission.
Yes. Now some of y'all right there at breakfast had a pancake coming out the pan, just stopped and looked at your significant other like, did you hear that? Some of y'all just did that. If you ain't did it, you thought about it, or you might be picking up the phone right now to call them at work to say, "Look here, tune in because y'all need to hear this word." But it is. I can't say. I mean, I've watched. I remember Elder, and I'm even going to ask this. You guys have made a transition. I remember initially, so your first deal was finance, and you went down the road with that. If you don't mind, tell our listeners how that turned out, what became of that property, and then subsequently, what did you do?
When we started with that property, and I bought that property at $40,000, and I got the loan through the bank, and I had $5,000 to work with anybody I can get to do the work for me, and they did. But my husband and I, we jumped in there and we did a lot of work ourselves, so it saves on that end.
Yes, ma'am.
And through the supplies coming through Home Depot and Lowe's, because using the credit right, it became a blessing. So I was able to get that done, but I think I held that house for several years, and I rented it.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
the people who was in need. But after finally getting tired of the renting side of it, Cohen had a young man, elderly man who needed a home.
Veteran.
He was a disabled veteran. And when he came and walked in that house, he just fell in love with the house because he didn't have to do anything. But it was a blessing to him. But we didn't just stop there. We continued it. And I know this was a walk by faith. Every house we get is definitely a faith walk.
Amen.
And we're able to see beyond. I can walk in a house now and see what it can be.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't care how bad it is. I've come to understand a lot of times, like I tell my guys, if a female wants to see the house, please don't let them see it till after we finish, because you might lose them when they see how ugly. You talk about ugly houses. We have done some ugly houses, and sometimes we talk about it, we go back and we say, wow, how did we get over that one? But the Lord just walks us through. He has not failed us in neither one of the homes that we have worked on. And as soon as Cohen put it on the market, we have 2, sometimes 3 buyers and line up to buy these houses. So we've really been blessed in this. And that's because it's not just us, it's the Lord's purpose.
Amen.
It's His will. And He desires to bless others as well as ourselves.
Well, through your vision and your purpose, you got to have faith.
Yes, sir.
The Bible says have faith as a grain of mustard seed. And now faith, not tomorrow faith, but right now. When you see what you should be getting involved with, then do it now. Don't start speculating and worrying about tomorrow, because tomorrow going to take care of itself.
Yes, sir.
And so we have to have faith, right, in order for it to work the way that we desire it to work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And see, that's a word right there. And people miss that. It's now. Now faith. Now faith. It means to act, do something, believe now. So guys, look here. I done got that now signal back there from my awesome producer, Terry Bass, back there today. So look here, we're going to take another break here. Listen to Exit Strategy Radio Show. We'll be right back. People miss that. Now.
Yeah.
We want to put off. We want to wait and see. We want to
wait.
They miss that. What are you doing now?
They miss the vision that God is revealing to them,
Yes,
because they're waiting.
Yes, sir. Because they're afraid to act. And then what gets
Got to step out.
What gets me though, then they want to stop everybody else.
Yeah.
Look here, I'm trying.
Misery love company.
Well, look here, they tell me that. But look here, everything, fear, misery, any other number of adjectives that ain't doing nothing, love company. But
Yeah. They're the same family.
exactly, they're like the chill.
Something like the Ike brothers.
Yeah. They look up and watch Success walk by. Hey, Success, come here. Success is like, I'm gone.
Because Success know that their heart is not in what they're trying to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The heart got to be in what you're trying to do. You know what I mean? And that's where encourage your faith, because your heart is involved in it.
Look here, I sat in the studio one time in preparation for the show, and Joe was back there getting set up, but he had the station playing, and I forgot what was going on that day or what have you. But I sat here just by my lonesome with him over there. He wasn't paying me no attention. But in my ear was playing, and I forgot who sings the song, but I know Bass know who sings the song, Encourage Yourself in the Lord. And I'm hearing it, and I'm like, you know what? That's what we have to do. We can't rely on others. And Pastor, I know I ain't got to say this to you. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir.
Go ahead.
But we ain't got to rely on others to give us a word of encouragement or inspiration or motivation or tell us to get up and move. We ought to be able, just on our own lonesome base, just get on up and go on and do it. Because that is what we have been called. The opportunity has been laid before us to do. Some of us won't roll over and blow a breath of life towards anybody when all you got to do is roll over, let alone get up to do it.
What did Jehovah God say to Joshua?
All right, let's go. Come on.
Encourage yourself. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Don't look to the left nor to the right, but encourage yourself. And I'm just speculating with a few here. I'm not giving you exactly what the word is saying as far as Joshua's 1 is concerned.
Yes, sir.
But the thing that sticks to me is that he said, "Didn't I tell you?" Didn't I tell you? You know what I mean? To encourage yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And when God is telling you something, right, you should not be discouraged and you should not have fear. Because the Bible says that all things work together for good.
Yes.
To them that love the Lord and to them that are called according to his purpose.
Yes.
If I am for you, who can be against you?
Yes.
They misses it. They misses it because they, got to do so. That's right. That's right.
There you go. There you go.
That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Buy a new pair of sneakers. Yeah. That's exactly.
Look here, that's really the Air Jordans right there. Yeah, that's it right there. All right. And we're back, guys. Final segment, Exit Strategies Radio Show. We've had a blast in here today. Y'all know I ain't here by myself. If y'all been listening, I'm going to give you the same old spiel about what. Nah, I ain't going to do that. We ain't going to tell you what we about because y'all should have been listening. Period. How about that? But if you missed it, please check our social media pages and you can get that content. I'm in studio. I have with me Pastor and Elder Vanderbilt, Sandra Evans. I got to put that senior on the Evans. I want to thank y'all guys so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. I just want to say that I am proud of you.
You're going to make me cry, y'all.
It is just like I birthed you.
Look here.
Man, I see so much development in you. I see your heart for the people. You understand? And if they would listen to what you have to say, they would be very prosperous as well. Pastor. God said, I would teach you how to prosper. And he used mankind to do that, be it male or female. You understand? Because there is no male or female in the kingdom of God. It's all spirit. And I want you to know that I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Spirit man you are.
Thank you, Pastor. You said something right there. Listen to others; they will teach, or he uses man to teach others how to prosper. Mm-hmm. We missed that. Mm-hmm. So I feel like we really haven't even touched the iceberg today on your story and what you guys have been doing. So I'm gonna have to leave this open-ended and say we have got to get you back on air. We have to continue to tell this story of how, oftentimes we have it in my mind, a misguided interpretation of what is necessary to get started in real estate investing. We also have a misguided interpretation as to who can be successful in real estate investing. And in turn, we have to # change the narrative. We have to explain how people got started with no idea, no concept other than just belief and faith.
No experience.
No experience. See, we all are sitting here. We all sitting here. God didn't give us the book and say, okay, this is what your story and your life is going to be. It came about. It happened because of mere faith. God, you put this door in front of me. You put it here for a reason.
Right.
All right, well, hold on. I ain't gonna just stand here and look at it like I'm stupid. I'm gonna knock and I'm gonna turn this knob. I'm gonna try to get in because you put it in front of me. Some of y'all trying to break into places y'all ain't supposed to be, but won't break into the place that God put there in front of you for you to go. That right there was a word right there, Pastor. You ought to preach that one of these Sundays coming up here. That's one of my hashtags I use that somebody need to preach that. But what I'm saying is we do that, guys. We fail to act because we are in paralysis. Fear has us in a stronghold, and we got to change the narrative.
Yes.
Right now, what's going on out here, outside these doors, walls, wherever you may be today, guys, with the coronavirus, first and foremost, please exercise discretion and caution. Please make sure, social distancing, like somebody, I saw this post the other day. Some of y'all been acting funny for a long time. So it's all right. You ain't got to do nothing different. But those of you who ain't used to it, look here. God got you. I ain't telling you to be reckless and indiscriminate in what you're doing out there. But yet and still, God is in control.
Amen, sir.
I can't say that no plainer than that.
Yeah.
So for all of you guys that's out there doing this on a day-to-day, we're going to end this show with this right here. I'm going to see you out there in them streets. I love you. Take care.
God bless.
Did it come out okay?
Boy, you kill him. What did he say? What did he say?
He over there cutting up. He over there cutting up. Appreciate you, man. We're going to wrap up over here. Hold on. Be all right, out.
Did it come out all right?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it did. Thank y'all so much. I mean, y'all, we have to do a better job of telling the story, owning our stories and telling them.
Right.
People are writing the story about what they see, but not what we're living.
What actually happening?
Yes, sir. So, and what I mean by that is you guys are doing this. People are picking up books and listening to people that ain't come from where they come from, trying to figure out how they're gonna get there. If your life started 3 miles away from me, there's no way in the world that I can start from here and be on the same path.
No.
It may mirror it, it may look similar, but it's not going to be on that path. But if someone's life or whatever experiences line up with you, you can follow that road a lot easier. And you have that story, starting with a house down there in the way.
Starting from nothing. But I wanted to say something about the station slogan. With Jesus, nothing is impossible.
Yes, sir.
You understand? And maybe people need to embrace that in order for them to see. And I know this show is about just
No, sir.
real estate.
No, sir.
But
It's
if
not.
they just start and begin to trust the Lord and embrace Him with all their heart, not just part of it, but with all their heart, then God will do the same thing for them as He has done and still doing for us.
Yes, sir.
Sam, you tell me today that we got a new house.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
that ain't nothing but God.
Yes, sir.
Ain't
Yes,
nothing
sir.
but God.
In the midst of.
If you don't put yourself in the midst of it, ain't nothing gonna happen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nothing's gonna happen. So I bless the Lord for Him, and I bless the Lord that He put you in our lives.
That's right.
I've said a number of times, you all are, and guys, we're still recording, but just in all fairness and
Oh,
directness.
they're not hearing us.
Well, the radio isn't, but for our listeners that's going to watch this content later, they are.
Okay.
But you all have been, a constant, and I'll say presence, within my life and within my business. And I jokingly say that every time and this is every time I'm like, what, I ain't doing this more. I quit. Elder called me, asked me about a house. So, and I can't say no, but and I used to joke. I've joked about it in the past, but I realized more so. But that is exactly what happens every time. You guys have quit several times. I just need you to know I've quit a number of times over my years. You get tired of dealing with the people and the situations and all that stuff that just makes what we do so difficult to help and serve people. All the obstacles and hindrances and roadblocks you run into, and like, okay, in the end of the day, oftentimes people are challenging you, for no reason other they don't want you to succeed or want you to get whatever
Jealousy.
done. Yes, sir.
Jealousy.
And
remember, iron sharpen iron.
That's fair.
Like a man constantly sharpening the constantly of a friend.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
And that's what it's all about.
Yes,
You're
sir.
just not our realtor. You are our friend.
Yes, sir.
And our job is to encourage one another. You know what I mean? It is to let one another know, hey, you can stay on the wall. You don't have to get down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And a lot of people don't want to stay on the wall.
Yeah. Yes, sir. You're absolutely positive correct.
And if you don't stay on the wall, then you ain't gonna make it.
Yes, sir. That's fair. That's fair.
You ain't gonna make it.
So for our listeners who still watching us, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for staying tuned throughout this entire show. What we've done on air, what the conversation was, also off air. It is important that we all embrace one another.
Amen.
We cannot, and we're not designed to do this life alone.
No man is an island.
Yes. I mean, look here. Adam was here, but God said he needs a companion. And in turn, here came Eve. Mm-hmm. So long story short, we must embrace one another. Amen. We must be there to assist one another. That's what we've been called to do. Mm-hmm. We must be of service to one another. So, everybody's been telling you to check on the elderly during this time and so forth and so on. Do that. You should have been doing it. If you ain't doing it, okay. Go do it now.
Get to it.
Whatever else is you need to do, whoever it is you need to check on, a simple text, a quick phone call, a knock, a rap on the door. Hey, I'm just coming by to check, make sure you're okay. Whatever it is, let's be neighbors.
Amen.
Let's be neighbors, because we've been failing at that. We're not neighbors, and we're most times not even decent friends.
Yeah.
We're failing, so let's do better. This is the time to embrace that. Don't let this design, if you will, don't let this design do what people keep telling you that you need to do, which is distance yourself from someone. Right. You can embrace someone without having to physically touch them if you're that concerned. Right. But love on them. I can love you from afar.
Yeah,
so let's do that. Let's from a distance. I can do that. So let's do that. Let's focus on that. Let's not be self-centered during this time, because that's not what God has called us to do.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
So look here. I got to let y'all see Pastor over there sitting. He over there. He over there. He ain't even saying nothing. Just kind of there you go right there. Wave to the folk, Pastor. There you go.
God bless each and every one of you.
Again, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. And we're going to wrap this one here up.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.